Oops. Wait a minute. Ah, here I am. Sorry about that. This is very impromptu, so I don't have all my scenes rearranged properly. How you doing? Hey Megan. I I'm just kind of fiddling around with my new dress forms and I really want to use them. So, and some things I need on them before I really start using them. So, I put on the shirt that they scan you in, and I made some like landmark thing. Look at this belly, man. I marked my belly button and my princess seams, my armhole. I cut the sleeves off, and now I just want to drape a cover on here. And the other thing I want to do is cut out this little Kelly shirt dress in 50% off. So yeah, see, or 50% off, 50% size. It's tiny. Yeah, exactly. So once I have like these kinds of seams on here, it'll be a lot easier for me to find things. This is my bra band. So I just drew on here. It's very casual. I got some canvas. It's like a kind of like a linen cotton canvas. I'm hoping that I'll use, but I'm going to use some just scrap fabric. I also got a bunch of new pins. Hey, Nanny, how's it going? Yeah, so this isn't usually a day I stream on or a topic I usually stream about, but I'm going to be doing this anyway right now, so I just thought I'd invite you guys along. So, yeah, and I haven't draped in a really long time. And when I do, it's usually pretty casual and it's usually for me, so it's not like I'm using it for work or anything. So yeah, I'm just gonna... Basically, I'm just going to drape on my dress form and just see what I come up with. I'm kind of holding out for the Beatrice fabric that they're working on, because it's going to have, it's kind of going to be kind of like this stuff where it has the dots on it, but a little more subtle. So I think that that'll be really nice. So I really need to figure out like the center of my center line. So on this knit cover, there's no lines on it. There's no seams except on the side seams. And there's not even a neck seam. So there's only a side seam right here. That's it. There's a front and a back. That's it. Oh, nice, Megan. Wow. You get spring. You're all ready to go. Now you have spring break. So I'm going to kind of mark a line down the center best I can here. Our bodies are asymmetrical. So it's definitely not the easiest, especially when you're doing your custom, but you know. I'm just trying to find the center line right now. 20 1/4, 10 1/8. I don't want to move my shirt now. I'm going by the seam on the dress form. $21 1/4. So yeah. Hey Gina, how's it going? Yeah, right, Megan? Wait, do you think you can't? Your kids are older. They want something to do with you? Mine wouldn't. I mean, she just is like her own thing, you know? I'm feeling for the side seam under the t-shirt. 17 1/4. And 5/8 right here. 3/8. I need a pin now. I'm not going to draw my dress form. So, oh, for your middle kid. Oh, right. It's a surprise. Yeah, I feel ya. All right, so I bought, when did pins get so expensive? So I bought some quilting pins. I'm getting really low on pins. I'm kind of hard on them. And I just throw them away when they start bending. I like the glass-headed kind. But I got some pins because I'm going to pin some guidelines on my dress form eventually. So I figured getting nice new pins is a smart idea. So let's see what I spend here. 9 plus 10, 19. Yeah, I spent like $25 on pins. Sewing isn't a cheap sport. So these are the silk pins. I'm going to write on these because I kind of want to see if I notice the difference and what I like. Because I've been kind of changing my preferences. So these are the silk ones. And these are the patchwork pins and these are the quilting. These boxes are different. These are really cool. I don't have my overhead camera and I should change it. So. Oh, now I'm sorry. How do I open this? Oh, there we go. Hey, Penny. Oh, your Hudson pants. Wait. Aren't the Hudson pants women's? Right, Leslie? I didn't go to a Joann's. These are really pretty. They're clear. I like the glass heads so I can iron them. Alright, so I think I'm going to keep these little packages so that if I really like one of these, I know what to buy again. Yeah, I will say this fabric store gives me a discount. I don't know if they did today, but they are very nice. They give me a teacher discount, but I told them to take it away because I haven't been teaching, and they might have because that and my linen fabric and the zipper. Oh, and I got a marking tool because remember we were talking about marking tools, so I got the Hira marker. Oh, I love that it's called Hira. So, you know, you can crease on the fabric and it actually does leave a mark. So, man, I really should work on a Clover sponsorship. I don't have a garbage can over here anymore. All right, so let me, now that I have this kind of center line, and my iron's way over there, so I'm just gonna, maybe I'll use my marker to, where'd I do that? Oh, there it goes. I want the chat bigger. I'm not into this. Can I go to my stream? I used to. How do I do that? Wait, I can clip. I can create a highlight. What the heck? Didn't know that. I'm going to go to my stream because I like seeing all your names in colors. Yeah, that looks way better. Yeah, I like that so much better. There we go. Okay, okay. Yeah, see, on my breakout, it's not in color. So, streaming counts as teaching. I mean, that's why I watch gaming streams, right? I'm there to learn. All right, so I'm just going to use my marker here to create a crease. So I'm not, I really haven't been draping, you know, like you learn great draping in college, but most garment companies, they might have a dress form, but they don't use it to create their patterns. They use existing patterns, right? So you might use your dress form to create something like a trial or something. But it is pretty surprising that a lot of companies don't have dress forms. Now, bigger companies definitely do. And I've worked for some pretty big companies, but we didn't really have dress forms. And on top of that, the dress form isn't sometimes the customer. You know what I mean? Like the dress form is a dress form. So we would have fit models come in, and that would be people that measured in the size range. And so then we would try it on. So in essence, we would use mostly existing patterns, you know. What's up with pin boxes? Each one of these is different. This one is a nice little box. You go like this and you open it. This one, let's see. Same thing. This one is the worst kind. This is the kind where I dump them all. Is it taped? It's taped. Okay. Here we go. I'm only going to undo the tape on one side. All right, here we go. Chalk pencil. They have a men's pattern. Oh. So is it the same pattern? That's pretty cool. I know Megan is about to do that one. So I'm trying to drape a princess seamed version. I'm also going to be putting my a waist seam on there. Actually need this way higher. And I'll probably go through a bunch of iterations because I'm going for extremely accurate, but I'm also going for landmarks that I can trust. This isn't something I would wear. I actually need real scissors for once. I need to go get them. Wait, maybe these will work. Let's see, this pair or this pair? You get 500 what? It's just bigger. But it's the same style penny. Like, so it's a men's and a women's version. That's pretty neat. That's pretty nifty. So this is... I really don't want to nick my dress form. I like these. I'm a little nervous about it. You do get a pattern from Beatrice, but it's to make this knit cover, and I want a woven one so that it doesn't, so that I can have seams on it. Now, if I put a knit cover with seams, it could move around, whereas the woven is more static, and so that's kind of what I'm going for. That's why I'm getting it in this. So I'm going to cut a little bit of this off here. Normally you just use muslin for this kind of thing. But I have tons of leftover lining fabric. That's what I'm using here. So it feels a lot different than a dress form, but it still feels very, very firm and stable, which is really great. My dress form, my like real one, like from the industry, it's a wolf. It is harder. So soon I will have like all these seams on here and it'll be really easy. Apex. So these princess lines will be where my darts are too. So it is good to note. You know. Hi, Vicky. Oh, they called them men's husband pants. Oh, okay, okay. Ooh. What's a Nancy dress? Who's that by, Megan? All right, so I want to decide where I want my waist. I feel like you guys are learning a lot about my body that I didn't really plan on ever sharing. I marked my jeans on here, like where my waistband of my jeans is. I'm not going to mark it on my form like this is where I want my waistband on my jeans. But at least I think what I'll do is, that's why I got a few different pins, different colors. I'm going to mark where I like my sleeveless armhole, how deep of a V I would want. Oh, so over it. Oh, okay. I think I made the kids patterns by them. That's it. That's cool. And then, you know, things like where I like things, not necessarily, I don't really need to mark my waist. It's pretty obvious, but I want to mark where I like things to be. You know, like I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt and I'll probably bring it and try it on her and mark where I like it. I think another good idea I might do is start like a little mini library of pictures. So I'll take a picture of my dress form wearing the like a tank top that I know really, really well, and maybe a picture of myself wearing it, so I have a side by side, you know, I was thinking. So I like my friend says, I don't want to keep all that stuff in the hard drive, meaning his head. So and I kind of agree. So I just want to have like a little photographic library of a few key pieces, because even if it's not like, I don't want every tank top to fit me like this, but at least I know where this one is and which way I want to go from there, you know? I don't feel like I have this line right here in the right, because I didn't really find this one yet. So let's find it. That's a lot of ice cream there. That's actually pretty darn good. All right. I marked my bra, like where my bra was here. So, right, Beverly? Solid muscle. Ice cream muscle. When you're fitting a garment that you don't care about and you're really having some trouble and you're getting like tightness like this, cut into it to the seam line. Let it release and let it relax, because you might be surprised that it actually fits better than you think, you know? So, Beverly, she has the ace bandages. That's genius. I love that. See, my apex is right here, but I feel like this line right here needs to come more, no, like this. It's really hard to draw on her, you know, because once you hit the curves or the lumps and the bumps, the pin goes a different way. So I've been using different colors, like a la college days, you know. And I also, I'll be really heartbroken if this gets on my dress form. Okay, no, it's not. It's not even getting on the t-shirt. And this is just my first cover, you know. You know, I actually started thinking of all kinds of really interesting things you can do. Because you know how I printed the Callie shirt dress? I printed it at a 50% scale. So this was normally a 4-inch square, and now this is a 2-inch square. So I printed all the pattern pieces that way. If you had money to burn, you could print that on spoonflower fabric or fabric in your printer. Cut it out. And you'd be ready to drape. It'd be really expensive to do that, you know. But the possibilities, you know. All right, so where do I want my waist to be? Like, when I think of my waist, I think of it being about right here. So never measure yourself. Okay, that's interesting. A little lower than what I thought. It's been helpful. I've been actually looking in the mirror. Ooh. That sounds good, Megan. I have to admit, I'm not the biggest cookie person, but I do like certain kinds. So I'm not necessarily going to the smallest part on me, you know? You know what might help? I still have all my elastics that they give you to drape yourself with. You know? I have clothes on, I know, but it's just like where I want my waist to be. You want more. Now, I've been lately eating those Newman O's, the chocolate orange chip cookies. Oh my God, I love those things. See, my narrowest part is like pretty high up, right? My jeans are right here. I'm looking at myself on the camera. That's why I'm using it as a mirror. But I would never wear something this high up, right? So this is really, I consider my belly button where I would like to wear something. Like right here. Like right here. That's where I'm considering putting my waist seam. I think I would put it about right here. It's 14. It's hard sometimes to trust your points of reference. You know? So can always move this later. It's mine. You're on a no soda bet with your kids. I'm glad, you know, when I was in high school and I had braces, they told me, you know, don't drink soda while you have braces because that will eat at the cement on your braces. And so I think at a time in my life when a lot of your taste buds are really getting solidified and I wasn't drinking soda, I do like it. Like I love Dr. Pepper with like pizza or a hamburger or something like that. But I didn't really, I don't drink it. I like iced tea. So I feel like this is right. Okay. So I'm going to consider that as my first piece. And I'm just gonna temporarily true it up here. I could try and put you guys on the other. Let's see what happens when I click this. Oh yeah, let me activate that. Nope. Sorry. These are the things that happen when you guys you don't know. You don't know those are the things that happen when you're not here. I have to activate the cameras sometimes, and it's because there's so many of them hooked up. So that one already said it was active, and it was clearly not active. All right, so I'm just going to put a little parallel seam allowance here. Get rid of all this. All right. Okay. This is kind of a big draping job. It's going to have center front, side fronts, center backs, side backs, and then same thing on the bottom. A lot of pieces. I think, my boob is kind of wide like this. So it's really hard for me to put this princess line right here. It feels really narrow, but honestly, I think it would be weird if I put it out more. It's because I had a breast reduction. That's what happens. You lose the depth, you don't lose the width, Oh, those spin drifts, yeah. Yeah, they did a deal with my husband's work, and they got this pallet of that stuff, and we all loved it, but now we're all burnt out on it. The lemon lingered for a while, like the lemon ones, but I have to admit I started using some of those in like a mixed drink occasionally, and they were pretty good. All right, so let's. Okay, so let's see here. Sounds gross. It's just a flavored fizzy water, but I think it has doesn't it have like a real flavoring on it? All right, so one of the rules I'm not doing on this project is usually you would make some guidelines like a bust guideline or a waist or a hip or something, and then you would line up that line on the other piece here. So Like even just a grain line would be great. I'm kind of using these little flowers, but yeah. My dress form, my rules. I think the armhole is going to be a tricky area as well. Especially like this was one thing Allison, who is Beatrice Forms, and I talked about, because she was like, I can't wait to see where you put your shoulder dot. And so you get these little pink dots and you put them where you would like to have your shoulder line. And I saw what she meant when I had to choose, because when I was like, oh, this is easy. That's easy. I know exactly where I'd want that. And then when you look in the mirror and you see where your shoulder is, it's really interesting. So like you might be wearing a t-shirt and the seam be right there. But that's not actually where, like if you lift your arm up and it pivots, where that line is on you. And so you have to decide like what do you want to reference it for? You know? And so mine was like down here, kind of where the calf of this sleeve is, and I feel like this is a little low, but and so when I tried on this shirt on me today, so I used this shirt during the scan, and then I put it on me, and I kind of figured out, without putting it on the form, I didn't want to be skewed, put it on me, and I drew everywhere, and I drew where, I'm pretty sure where I put the dots, and then when I put it on her, I was like, oh, that's so interesting, like where it ended up. And I think the armhole, because there's nothing filling it out here, so you can see this is all kind of slack. It's not like that when I'm wearing it, because your arm and your bicep are pulling and filling it up there. So it is a really interesting thing to think about, you know? Gosh, I'm kind of trying to remember my draping techniques. These are not the right pins, by the way. There actually are better pins. They're these little steel head pins that I hated. I love that I can pin into the arm, because on other forms there's a steel plate here and you can't pin there. It's kind of nice, but you can feel it. I wish I could see my markings through this fabric better. I'm quite busty, and I'm quite narrow right here. So this is why I'm thinking maybe that princess line will have to move over a little bit. See, because I could probably get a smooth line right here. You know? Hey, Sydney. Social distancing. Oh. Raspberry lime. Oh, we didn't get that one. No, this foam is amazing. It's really dense. Yeah. Your daughter won't even try it? Oh. You mean the lemon? Yeah. It's a casual stream. I really want to focus on this, so I told you guys I might stream and do this, so I thought you know. See, these pins are a little big for this. I'm gonna try these shorter ones. Actually, maybe these silk pins are supposed to have a pretty small diameter. So, is the social distancing for germ's sake? I'm thinking it's that, since you're here in chat with us, and that's social. I think I can get this. Yeah, these pens are better. You know? Raspberry lime spinner. I might try that. I don't like that right there. You know how you use something new? You want to keep it all organized. So I'm like, the green. See, look at, there's two colors. There's green. I don't know if you can see them. Green and orange, and I'm already mixing them up. And I'm like, I want them to stay. This can be pretty tight too. I'm kind of tempted to try this on once I get it too, you know? So, hi Sherry. No, Sherry, this is not a usual day and time that I stream. I just thought I'd bring you guys along in my progress on my dress forms. No, I'm gonna finish the blue dress tomorrow. So, oof, Sydney. Yeah, you're in Washington. Yeah. It's crazy. Crazy stuff. I did see a funny meme today. It was, wash your hands like you just ate a bag of Doritos and you're going to hand embroider a wedding dress. It's like, yeah, that. There we go. Yeah, thanks, Sherry. I mean, I haven't, like I said, I'm not very, I don't drape much. I was trained how. It's not my normal pattern drafting method. You wouldn't do this for every pattern. It would be too costly. So what you do is you take a pattern that like has something similar, like the base is similar, and then you add your style lines to it. Just looking at my other line there underneath. Definitely don't use me as your college class for draping here. There it is right there. Okay. It would be hard to get up to date on it. Draping's pretty intuitive once you get some of the basics down. And like I said, I'm not really utilizing some of the fundamentals. But not sure about that armhole, but I'm going to do this as my rough draft. It's been so long since I've had a dress form I could use for myself. Like, just trying to remember all the things I can do has been pretty interesting. Hi, Lou. Nice to see you. Sydney, that's hilarious. I like that. Now that looks like a princess seam. I'm liking it. Just decided to do an impromptu stream, Lou. It's a bit casual today. I'm just working on these dress form covers. So I might drape what time is it? I'm gonna drape a little bit more. It's gonna sort itself out in a second, but if it doesn't, it's okay. It's the rough draft. I'm not entirely sure that's where I want my princess seam. I feel like the princess seam could come out a little bit more. So that'll shift all that a little bit. So I'm not worried about it yet. That's not too bad to deal with. I haven't draped like this a really long time. Like I've draped for a company before, but usually what we would do is what I'm going to do on my mini form. I really need to name these things. I'm going to cut out that Callie shirt dress and then just pin it together and put it on her. That kind I've done a lot of that. Yeah, see how far that's in now? I don't know about that. That's not far. That's too far in. There is sometimes a bit of easing with princess lines too. I'm going to pin this to themselves so it can hang loose. Normally you would just do this off the dress form, but I'm just pinning it on here for now because these are my rough draft pieces. It'd be a lot easier if I pinned it on the table. Hi Karen, how's it going? It's for your lazy morning. No, I have a mat. So I have a cutting mat, and then underneath it is a printed grid. That's how they do it now. If you've ever seen pictures of my other table, the grid is printed on the mat, and I don't recommend those because unless it works for you, but it flakes off. The blue flakes off of those mats, and if you tape on your table, which I do, because I'll hold a piece of tape on my table while I'm waiting to figure out where I'm going to put it. Like I'll tear off a bunch, stick them on the table. And the first time I did that, like within an hour of owning it, it lifted up the blue ink immediately. And I was like, wait a minute. So I would recommend getting this kind now that they make with the grid underneath. Okay, I just need to probably take this off the form, but I don't want to yet because it's just a rough draft, you know? And I've got all this easing happening over the boob. You know? And I think I'm going to pull my princess seam out. Further. It's hard to pin it because I'm catching the t-shirt and the dress form, the cover. This is why I want to make a cover. I want something smooth and firm and not stretchy underneath. You know? Hi, Louise. Right? Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Sydney. I actually said, excuse me, but your mat just like came undone, and they disputed me. I was like, I'm showing you a picture. I can show you a video if you want, you know? And they finally refunded the mat, but they didn't take it back. So I had to keep it, and I just kept it under my other mat for a long time. I got a replacement from them without the grid. I don't need the grid, so it's not a big deal. It's helpful. That's looking okay, huh? I think it's definitely too far that way. So once you're done doing like a drape like this and it's all sewn together, it's supposed to, you sew it to itself, and then it's supposed to line up in all these spots, you know, without pinning it there. So I think this is I still have a little bit of extra fabric here. But we're getting there. So this is why when you see like runway stuff and it fits them really good, I mean, most runway looks and models don't really represent the general population, obviously. So I need to get this little bit out here, right there. I'm just going to do that for now. I'm going to do that actually. But because they're draping it, they really can distort it. They can actually pull and ooch it together. Hi, Brooke. How's it going? All right, Louise. It is covered with a knit cover, Sydney. Nice, Brooke. Yeah, cool. We're just here for, you know, try things out. Yeah, so I think that this needs to go all the way over here. Here, I'm going to tell you something you don't need to know. Because of my breast reduction, like where things are a little different on me, you know, they're more contrived. So I can't really go by that because visually it just wouldn't be quite right. So I feel like this can go out about right here. I feel like this can go about right here. As my doctor said, even though I was in high school when I had it done, I'm going to make you permanently perky. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that that would be better. And do you see, like, when I do this, I can actually almost get a smooth line right here. You know? And that seems like that would work better. And this come to here, just like that. Lucky me. Oh, that's interesting, Sherry. I never saw that they had rotary mats. That's weird. How big is it? This one right here was cut to fit this table. And I got this. So this is my newest one. All my others, I have 4 on that table because I've had them for so long and I don't want to throw them in the landfill. And if like someone came along and said, oh, I have a table this size and I need a rotary mat, I would just give them one of them until they can afford their own because they're fine. They're just very cut up, you know. They work okay, but you know, they do eventually kind of just want a new one, you know, because they're not the self-healing. They say they're self-healing, but they're not the same kind of self-healing. So I save them so they don't go in the landfill. And I've given like 1 or 2 away before. All right, so yeah, I think that that's it. See, my breast is really wide. I think my apex is right here. But I still think that visually you'd want the dart to end. Because look at this fullness here. You know? Alright, well, let's see. I'm going to do the back now. And then we'll tidy up the front. Yeah. Nap strike is over. Oh, God. You know, Gina, the things we do, right? I have some interesting analogies that I'm not going to say on camera, but I remember being one of those parents that was like, I'm never going to do insert comment that I definitely ate my words on, you know? And one of mine was, I don't think I ever said it, but I remember thinking, putting your kid to sleep in the car, like, what the heck? Just don't let him ever get that picky. As my friend who adopted kids said on her first one, she said, you know, going suddenly from just being me and my husband in the house to all of a sudden having this free-thinking human being, even if they're a child in the house, is quite startling. You realize, like, oh, they have their own wishes, needs, wants, quirks, whatever you want to call it. And that's it. I mean, and sometimes, we all have trouble falling asleep, right? I mean, so what I did, my daughter did, she would only take a nap if I took her on a drive. And I put on a certain song. And then she would fall asleep. And it was for usually 48 minutes long. That's it, But... And that was it. And she went to bed pretty early. But what book I really liked, Gina, was the No Cry Sleep Solution. I really liked that book. I'm sure there's something more modern now because it's been 17 years. But I really like that book. Because it was a lot of talk when I had my daughter about, do you let your kids cry themselves to sleep? You don't ever hear people talking about that now. Maybe they do. But I really like that book. And I started it while she was an infant. And it worked. We started routines when she was an infant. And we kept them up. And she has always slept really well. Even when she wasn't sleeping well, we knew what to do. My kid was particularly... she was just really intense, like very focused, She was on to ya. I'm just finding my center back line. I don't feel like I'm doing the most accurate job right now, though. Let's see. I don't want to get Sharpie in my dress form. Mommy don't have hair. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yep, they have their personality. They're born with it. You know what's really funny? Was I really enjoyed, we traveled a little bit when Cricket was a baby. When she was 7 months old and when she was 14 months old, we did 2 bigger European trips. The first one was for pleasure. We did like 5 countries, me and my husband and her. And the second one was when he had his hip replaced in Belgium. What am I doing here? What the heck? She was 14 months old. What I found really interesting was traveling in another country with a baby and you notice how other people do things differently. It really makes you less judgmental about the people around you in your own country. Because you just realize everybody has something different that works for them. And the thing I noticed in Belgium especially, because in when she was 7 months old, it wasn't so... Maybe I just don't remember it. I was really sleep deprived. Babies don't know about jet lag. They just stay on their U.S. time while mom and dad are, cool, they're sleeping all day. Let's go and see the town. And then they're awake all night. I was really sleep deprived. Right? Yeah. He rarely cries, just smiles and plays. Oh my gosh. Oh, they're holding their breath and pass out. Oh my, I had a friend that had a kid that did that. Oh, wow, Penny. Oh my God. So, when we were in Belgium, the funny thing I learned, so remember, my daughter was 14 months old. My daughter, you guys, walked at 10 months old. She did everything really early. And when you're a mom, you're like really looking forward to those things, right? And you also are like, is my baby normal? Like, are they going to do it? You're like agonizing it. So-and-so's baby's walking. Why isn't mine? All that kind of stuff. Well, mine went early and it was a pain because she could sneak up on me without me hearing her crawling up behind me I would turn around and bowl her over occasionally because she'd be like standing there. I didn't know it. But what I noticed is in Belgium, we brought a backpack to carry her in, like a big frame pack, because they didn't have the cool things they do now. And the reason we did that was because strollers in America aren't sprung buggies with with the springs, and because we don't have cobblestone streets here, so you can use a stroller. You can't use a stroller in Europe. It's almost impossible if you're visiting any kind of older European city, because their streets are cobblestone and you can't push the stroller on it. So we learned that when she was 7 months old, and when we went the second time when he had his surgery, we brought a frame pack, and I had a friend with me to help. And people thought we were crazy that she wasn't in a stroller. They would openly say things to us. This is in Belgium, in Ghent. And the other thing they do, you guys, I'm not joking, they did this. They would leave their baby asleep in the buggy in front of their house, just like you see on like Call the Midwife. I was like, oh heck no, that's not happening. The other weird thing was pacifiers. They were using pacifiers in kids that were like 3 or 4 years old, which isn't very common in the States. And so if Cricket ever made a peep, like any little sound, people would give us really dirty looks. And she loved the echo of her voice in those little narrow pathways. And so she would be like, ah, ah. And people would be like, oh my God, that's terrible. What terrible parenting. And we were just like, oh, we don't know what to do. We're trying to blend in, but we weren't blending in, Yeah. Yeah, Gina. I mean... Yeah, she would climb out of the crib, so we got rid of we never had a crib. We had a crib until she was born. A few months later, she cut her lip on it, and then she was out of it, and so we just got rid of the crib and put her on a futon on the floor. So, all right, so here's my back. You know what's great about this kind of foam? You can go all the way in there. Look at that. All the way in there. Yeah, I love that. I like that a lot. Okay, so where's my... Yeah, and she had a temporary wheat allergy when she was that age. So I couldn't read the ingredients on all the packaging because it was in Flemish. So we had brought all of our food, but we ran out. I didn't look at where this neckline is on my back. I'm not too worried about it, but it's something I need to make sure I look at. My calves are getting tired, and I'm like, wait, it goes down. So where I can get this smooth line, that's where I think I would like my princess line, Oh, Cricket. Yeah, exactly. I don't have any lines drawn on the back, except I have my, ooh, there we go. I have my bra band right here. And this right here is where my pants hit me right now. But I think my waist right here is about more like right here. So I'm just going for smooth down here. So the back is usually easier. I almost stabbed the little dress one. So I do think I like... Yeah, I seem to remember that this is usually a set amount, this distance right here. Like maybe this whole thing needs to go over. Yeah, I think it does. I think it goes like this. This line here. I still don't like that far over. Ooh, I used to have this down pat how you did this. But I also wasn't worried about clipping into my dress form. You know? Oh, yeah, Megan. You know, someone told me something so great when I flew with my daughter, and she was 3 months old. I was terrified to do it, but I was asked to speak at my college at FITM, and so I didn't want to miss that opportunity. They wanted someone to talk about other non-traditional paths, and I was working in the outdoor industry, and that was something that FITM really didn't know a whole lot about, to be honest. They may have like dabbled in fitness apparel, but that's different than the outdoor industry. And so they wanted someone who was working in that, and where I worked was pretty unique and cool. They had military contracts, the waterproof breathables, seam sealing, a factory on site, pretty unique. And they asked me to speak, and so I went, but I was nursing, and I had a 3-month-old. And so I had to drive from my parents' house all the way to downtown LA. My parents lived in the high desert, and do the talk and then go back up there. I didn't normally pump. So because of the breast reduction, I had a really unique nursing situation. I didn't pump because there was never anything extra. And so I had to do that for the trip. But I remember being so nervous on the plane. She's 3 months old, and she was crying. And this woman next to me said, you know, I just want you to know that her crying is so much louder to you than any of us. And that was like the biggest gift anyone ever gave me in parenting. And I always think that, like, when she was having a tantrum in public, I would think, you know what, it's annoying to everybody, but it's way more annoying to me, and a lot of those people are probably pitying me, you know. And then I would be able to calm down and kind of, you know, go about my business. So now that's what I say to someone. When I see someone with a crying baby, I just say, you know what, that's much louder to you than any of us. And they always get that like, like, exactly, I know exactly what you mean. Where'd my red pen go? Does anyone see my red pen? Oh, here it is. See, now on the back, I feel like it should be over here. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. All right. Yeah, exactly, Sherry. I actually did mark it. You didn't get to see this. I put this shirt on me and marked it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you have two. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean. Yeah, so I still have the width. I just don't have the depth. Yeah, so my apex it's like right here. Pretty sure. It's right there. Oh, yeah, it's right here. So, you know, honestly, moving it's not such a bad idea. The stuff moves around, you know. So, yeah, there's my apex. So, yeah, I'm going to move that out. That's funny. When I draped this, it was a little over. But you know how things move when you like cut them and everything kind of shifts. That's why you just, this isn't my final one, you know? Just looking for my waistline. I don't have that cool black tape people use, you know? They didn't have that in college. It's not something on my radar. There you go. You always seem to... Wait. You'd rather listen to a crying baby than hold one? Really, Beverly? Yeah. You always seem to calm... Wait. Okay, so now we have our start of our back here. Alright, so let's take this off. It's like every moment I spend with this, I'm falling more and more in love with this dress form. Calm them down. You like to clam them down? Don't you hate it when you correct a typo with another typo? All right, I'm going to draft the side, back, and then I'm going to, let's see what time is it. Then I might have time to cut out that Callie and put it on my half size. And then I'll continue to work on this later, maybe with you guys. See, like, look at that. It just lays on there. Really nice. That's what you want. Usually you fold the front over the back, but I'll just save some time by doing that. By doing the back over the front. So I have pattern software recommendations. Ooh, I'm not familiar with the ones that are marketed towards like the home market, if that's what you mean, Gina. The one I used was I've used a few CAD programs, but I've used Optitex, Scanvec, and Tukatech, and Pad. Pad was the one I used the last, and if you're a Mac person, that would be one I don't even know if Pad's still around, but I don't have any of them anymore. My computer got Pad, like they aged out. You have to pay about $7,000 to keep them updated sometimes. You have to keep all these updates going, and expensive. But there are a bunch that are out there, and I don't know the current ones. You guys, the fact that I'm not putting grain lines on this, I'm being really bad. I'm just looking at these dots and going, yeah, that looks pretty good. What are you trying to do, Gina? You might look in the backs of magazines like Threads magazine. Next time you're at like a store with a bookstore, look at some of the backs of those home sewing magazines. I see them in there. But doesn't one of the Rachels uses one. One of the Rachels uses one. I can't remember it now. Oh, to design nursing tops. Oh, what? Let's see. What pattern company has been doing that lately? You know, Gina, there's another new mom in the chat named Christina. If you're, I don't know, are you in the So Live Facebook group? Because she's in there and she's posted a couple pictures of things. Her name's Christina Hawk, Haake. So if you ask to, oh my God, I haven't looked at the Facebook group in a while. I'm so sorry if I haven't accepted people, but I'll go and look. I need to make someone else a moderator in there. She's got a baby about the same age as Hank. I think he's a little younger. Yeah, I've definitely cut my nails and then I'm like, oh my God, and my hair. Yeah, you might be able to share some really, like, you guys might be able to share some ideas with each other. Oh, there you go. Oh my God. See, my thing is I'll be like cutting something like this, you know, and now my hair's a little shorter and I'll rotary knife it for sure. When I'm cooking, I just try and put it up. Okay, so I'm going to cut a little bit of this off. If I nick my cover, they did give me a pattern to replace it, so, you know. Yours isn't a top. Oh, I can't do that. It gives me a headache instantly. You'll pretty much always see my hair down. That, or I will braid it or put buns in close to my head. It's the only thing that doesn't give me a headache. I used to be able to let it dry. You know, like if I let it dry up, it would be fine. But now it just gives me a headache. Why does this cut back so quick? Is this even interesting to you guys? Watching me hack away at my... What am I looking at? Okay. My armhole's really weird looking. It's more, maybe I need to drop it down, but we'll see. Okay. That's the cut line, so Maybe I should do that. That looks a little better. Okay. Every scrap goes towards my dog beds. Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, I'm not really doing a formal thing. Maybe if I start doing these, I'll brush up my, I'll brush up my draping skills for you guys. I love draping. It's really satisfying. I mean, if you're doing custom stuff for yourself too, I mean, shoot. Faster. Well, I shouldn't say that. I always think that. I always think, oh, yeah, that's kind of a cheater way to do something. Cheater is kind of a mean way to say it, but because it seems like it could be faster. But then you have to transfer everything to something. Whether you transfer it directly to your fabric or pattern pieces, you still have to go through that, you know? So, wet hair turbans. Oh, cool. Yeah, and we never really finished drafting our bodice, Sydney. You love the color of my hair? No, it's natural. My hair... So when I moved to Chico, it was a little more stressful than I realized, and I went gray that year. This is my natural hair color. So people used to call me a blonde, but I'm more like a dirty blonde. And like it's dark underneath, kind of. See that? But yeah, and the ends are blonder than my hair's ever been. See that? I don't know if you can see. Yeah, that's pretty cool, Beverly. My hair gets so, it dries and will stay that, like, whatever kink or braid or whatever I put it in, it stays that way. It takes curl easy. Okay, so the back was a little easier. Not surprising. Because we all know boobs are a bitch. I should be more careful about those things because I always think like of does anybody here, I don't listen to My Favorite Murder, but if you guys are afraid of familiar with it, it's if you're into that kind of like if you're just really fascinated by murder mysteries, like real life ones, it's a really interesting podcast, but it's funny and stuff, and I have friends that are really into it. But it is really funny the catchphrases that people have made merchandise out of. One of my favorites is, "You're in a cult, call your dad." And I never even heard that episode, but the first time I saw it, I was laughing out loud. And I'm always worried that I'll get some of my little isms. I'll end up they'll catch on in the wrong way. Now, what's going on there? You guys can't see it yet. These don't quite line up. But we haven't trued this. Like, I haven't measured everything and seen, you know. I haven't trued it up yet, but see, look at that. I have this little discrepancy right there. Plus, when I double it, put this on the fold, it'll fit different. It's only a quarter of a pattern so far. All right. Oh yeah, this is kind of loose. There we go. I think it's gonna match. No. Oh, fun fact, my daughter took, like, I get Lush purple shampoo. You know the company Lush? I get their purple shampoo called Daddy-O, and Cricket put it on my hair recently while it was dry for like, I don't know, 40 minutes. And it did turn it purple with really good results, and it's still there. I think I showed you guys the other day. I didn't pin that very good there, but it's in here somewhere. Can't see it. I don't know where it's at. But that worked really good. Okay. So here we have the beginnings of my cover. It's looking pretty good. All right, so let's cut out my Kelly here. I added this shelf here, and I don't know what I did without it. I don't know how I survived without this shelf now. Okay. This shouldn't take long to cut out. It's so little. That's pretty cute. And I want the... Shoot, what size do I want? Really? Wow. Dang. Where's the... What size did I make? Was it the 12 or the 14? I feel like it was the 12. But let's cut out the 14 and see. I'm only cutting out the tunic, not the all the pieces. I'm gonna use a highlighter. Oh, I forgot a pattern piece. All right, we'll do the shorter version. Oops, this one. Oh, no. 14. Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's right. Okay, 14. And holy heck, that's really small writing. This one right here. Okay. Because it's so small, I want to make sure I know which one I'm doing. You know? I didn't tell you what. What did I not tell you? Okay. So one thing I was thinking of is doing a half size. You know, a 1/4 inch is now a 1/2 inch. The size you picked. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go... I'm not sure how I could figure that out. I've made this before. That's why I'm doing this. I'm not picking on closet case. It just doesn't fit me good. Okay, the fabric can go in there. Paper can go in here. Okay. So let's mark. What are we marking here? So you got, I think I would have to be really careful with any little, like if you see a tiny little fit thing, it's going to be bigger than that, you know, because it is a smaller scale. You got to double everything, in other words. Night, Louise. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow. I'll be finishing that dress tomorrow. Sleep well, friend. Oh, I did. That shirt's pretty cute, Sydney. It kind of looks like... Oh, wait. Actually, I'm getting it confused with another one. But yes, I did see it. Are you going to make it? Paper, fabric. Well, shoot. I just did that wrong. It's on the fold. I knew that. That's why I put it there and I still did it wrong. This fabric has this significant wrinkle down the middle of it. I'm always fighting it. Yeah, Amherst. When you get to it. Right? Right. So this, if anyone doesn't know, this is the Callie shirt dress by Closet Case. Very popular pattern, super cute. Definitely a really specific, like vibe to it. I really like it. But as with a lot of things, the back doesn't fit me very well. And I really loved the one I came up, when I finished it, I really loved how mine came out. So the seam allowance is going to be 1/4 inch on this, right? Because it's, pretty sure it's 1/2 inch normally. So, I ended up having to change it so much. I lost a lot of the good bits of the fabric because it had this really interesting, like pattern on it. So I would really like to have one. I ended up making it, I flipped. So when I first made this, I made it with the pleat as a box, which just accentuated how badly it made my back look like a pillowcase. And so when I went to alter it, I switched the pleat over, made it inverted, and that helped a lot. But then I also had to crop it a lot. So I lost all the cool print on the bottom. All right, so let's see here. Here's my back. Now let's... Now you could sew this. If you did it in paper, you could staple it. I've definitely done my fair share of sewing with a stapler before. Or tape. You're sitting at your desk in front of the computer working on a program, on a pattern on a program, and you're just like, I have to know how this goes. And you're sitting there cutting it out, and I would print out the pattern pieces on my printer, like my little desktop printer at a small scale like this, and then staple them together. Coworkers would be like, what are you doing over there? And it's really fun. They would do the same thing. So let's see here. I'm just sewing this with pins. Anyone have some fun weekend plans, or is everybody in quarantine? We were thinking about going away for spring break just for like the weekend, but we're just not sure. There's kind of a lot up and down the coast, you know? And I know it's not as serious as things like the flu or cancer, you know? Come here, little girl. This is fun. She doesn't have a cover, so, but she does have seams here. It's all pinned. I think that this notch is the fold. And then I have the center front line as well. It's not marked on the pattern though. Maybe that's not the center front. But in general, that dotted line right there, that would be this is the extension. Yeah, this is fine. That's got to be what it is. I don't know what else it would be. I almost wanted to overlap this, what I would normally overlap, you know, but it's not. It's actually much smaller than this even. It's a 1/2 inch. That's an inch. It's 50%. So the benefit of doing like a half size is that you would be able to theoretically cut and sew something this small faster with less material. They're not offering this service yet, but the folks that already have gotten dress forms can get one. It would be almost better just to, actually, yeah. I don't know why I just pinned that shut. I'm gonna, see you later, Gina. I'm gonna clip my little armhole curve here. Crazy how much we're ruled by kids. I think about cultures where they have to wear their kid and they're like, you know, working, picking things or weaving or sewing or whatever. Okay. I think it would be better if I had sewn this. It's so small to pin together. I feel like I could be kind of inaccurate by accident, and you wouldn't want any, like even 1/8 of an inch, like I said, it's going to be a big difference, right? It's 1/4 of an inch because we're talking 50% scale. So bigger repercussions. And this fabric's pretty boardy, as would a muslin be, you know. Muslins are pretty boardy. Another good idea would be just to draw the seam allowance on here. I think that would be the best way to succeed at this. Draw your seam allowance on here and then, you know, stack your lines. I'm just folding it and then stacking the folds so I can see that little fold line. I kind of want to just make things for my little dress form like she's a doll. I've never played with dolls before. All right. Couple more pins and I get to put her on. Oh, I didn't do the shoulders. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Eek. Usually when you drape as well, you pin into the fold. I can hear that. Pin into the fold. So, you know, you go perpendicular like that. It's tempting to do it the way I'm doing it because you're like, oh, I can cover more linear area with the pin parallel to the fold. The problem with that is that there's no flexibility. There's less flexibility in that little spot, so it can't curve over things and react the way that it would if it were stitched. It's a shortcut way that can kind of prevent you from seeing what's really happening there. Now we're a few pins away. All right. You can even see it happening. Look at that. This isn't the longest length. I'm gonna fold this. So this one could use a cover too because it doesn't glide over the knit very well. When it's this small with this boardy fabric, you know, I think it would be nicer to just use something a little smoother because it is a little smaller, you know. But look at, that's pretty fun. Plus, I don't want to catch that knit when I'm pinning it because I want it to stay loose over the body. All right. I can confirm this is exactly how this fit me. So this is what happened. It scooped my butt like this, just like this. And so what I wanted to do was this on me. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is exactly, so do you see that? So when I'm wearing it, it does this little thing right here between that huge pleat. And I do feel like this is partly the silhouette of this garment. I see it on people. You see it on the pattern cover. But for me, with my belly and with, I mean, it's just not very balanced on me, honestly. I kind of want to, I'm going to cut into the neck a tiny bit, release it. I'm cutting too much. I just realized I just started cutting into it a 1/4 inch deep, but the seam allowance is probably 1/8 of an inch. Maybe it's a 1/2 inch, and if it is, then I'm okay with this 1/4 inch. It's probably 1/2 inch. I'm actually probably okay. That'll make it hang better. But ironing this, making sure that it's nice. Maybe doing a drapey. I might have some rayon. But see, like this like thing here. Okay, and I'm going to say like partly it's because of this block, because there's no armhole seam right here. So this is a good example. When you don't have an armhole, your armhole's a slit. You see that? It's flat. Because we didn't do this. Oh my God, this is gonna be such a great tool. Can you see that? So look at that. This is flat on the body, right? We know that this isn't just forced open. It's a nice circle, right? That's where my arm comes out. Here, there's no hole. It's a slit. Right? It's flat. You move your shoulder seam forward, Sydney? Yeah, I find that anytime I don't have an armhole, I have issues with, this is exaggerated even more. And on me, this looks maternity. Look at that. I don't think it was like that quite when I was wearing it, you know, but see when I pick it up like this, like you put the armholes straight out, it kind of calms that down. That's not what happens. You know, you put your arm in here, it's gonna do that. So I think for me, the best thing would be to make this pleat a lot less. You know what I ended up doing on mine, I think, is I stitched it down. So I need a little bit more fullness here. And I need a lot less here. I have all my things like that. I mean, I think even this archer, this archer's not buttoned up, but if I buttoned it up, you'd see it does this saggy lines there on me. You did, okay. Yeah, Nancy, it's just a casual stream today. I'm playing with my dress forms. I cut out the Callie shirt dress pattern 50% and put it on her. This isn't the longest length, yeah, Sydney. So this is crop. This is the tunic length. That makes sense because this is about the top of my thigh right here. Like I have a belly, but that never usually happens, you know, like this is, what's going on here? Yeah, actually, I feel like what's happening is this is too high up. I don't think moving the shoulder seam would work for me, but you know what I do think is dropping the back neck seam. That relaxed it. That neck seam was like up here on my neck. I think it really needs to be relaxed. It's a little tight. But you know, I wouldn't, whatever I'm doing to this right now, I wouldn't consider what I need to do. I would do a better sample of this. I would make sure I'm using the proper seam allowances. I'd be very exact because with the 50% size, you'd make sure every 1/8 of an inch counts. Yeah, I know, Nancy. It's incredibly generous. Such an amazing gift. And I'm really falling in love with it. Like it's like the more I work with it, the more I'm like, I have a dress form, like remembering that. And it's like a whole nother way to think because I've had dress forms before. I've used them for years. I've just never had one that's me. So yeah, and I don't think cutting the front wouldn't work for me. I wanted mine to be a dress. And you know, Sydney, the biggest mistake I made on this was I wanted this right here. I think I raised, what did I do? I raised this up. Is that what I did? No. Oh no, I shortened the bottom. And then I didn't realize how high this was because really, you know, this is my crotch right here. It was too short for a dress. Yeah, you can see it relax as I cut. Cool, that's good to know. Yeah, I mean, like it's hanging a little less cupped down here. So, no, I just took the pattern pieces, Nancy, and I printed them out at 50%. And I'm just saying, like, the seam allowances, if the seam allowances are 1/2 inch on the pattern, then at this size, they're 1/4 inch. So every 1/8 of an inch is actually a 1/4 of an inch, and every 1/2 inch is an inch. So you really have to be precise if you're going to use your this form, right? So yeah, so I think, Sydney, like, I could cut down into the sides here too. I don't think I would have really been aware that this could be part of the problem, except that I have made the mistake on probably half the archers I've made, where I accidentally sew the collar and the collar stand at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I attach it to the archer that way, because that's traditionally what you do with necks, collars, stands, and sleeveless items. It's a 1/4 inch standard. But I forget, and I'm such a dope, you know, I forget when I'm sewing a home sew pattern that I have to use their seam allowance, of course, right? And so that's a 1/2 inch on the archer. And what happens is, if I don't sew it at the proper seam allowance, this neckline creeps up my neck on the sides, and that 1/4 of an inch extra is quite a bit. And so, because I noticed when I started doing it correctly, that my collars laid better, everything fits so much better if I use the proper seam allowance. And so that's why I just saw that. I was like, oh, this looks like I used the wrong seam allowance, you know? And I didn't on this. I just feel like maybe it needs to be a little more open. I still want to pick this up like this and bring it forward. And that's the kimono. That's this. When you have only one seam dictating your shoulder slope and your armhole, it's going to be limited. I mean, this looks like a maternity dress right now. It's not hard for me to look maternity. You'll never see me in those cute little shirts where there's a seam here and it's gathered here. Nope. The closest I get is that pleated white top you see me wear, because I just love it. And the little seam is like really low, and it's like this long. Well, that was instructive. I think that this is good. I'm going to make a cover for this too, but you know, all I need to do... Yeah, but that's the thing, is like, that's the kimono is... The kimono as the kimono in a traditional cultural piece of clothing is designed to do this. Like, they go back, right? And it sits in the collar of the kimono. Why am I demonstrating on me? The collar of the kimono, you know, that wide band, sits right here. It goes down low on their neck. They wear it traditionally differently than the way we wear it. So when you only have this little seam and your side seam is already there, right? So this is all you have. You don't have an armhole, you have a slit. Now, if I were to hold this, I couldn't pinch it shut like I just did like that, right? So you remember, this also has an extension for a sleeve. You know, it's because there's a band right here. So yeah, I know that this isn't the armhole against the body, but it is a slit, you know. And this is the kind of sleeve I usually try and stay away from, because I don't, like, it does this for me here. It does this for me here. And it chokes. Me and my daughter both have that thing where we don't like things touching our neck, you know. So that's just a preference of mine. And every shirt, you know, the first thing I did when I saw that Hey June shirt was I zoomed in on it to see if it had an armhole. First thing I did. It's the first thing I do on everything. And the thing is, like, it makes sense that a lot of pattern companies don't draft garments with sleeves and armholes all the time, you know. And I don't know, like, there's lots of reasons. They could just, this is really cute. This look is really cute. You don't, you know, like, without the armhole and everything. I really love this look. This is how the mellow low is. This is how the, what's the other thing? I'm totally spacing on that other shirt we've made. Same thing, right? No armhole. And then I think it's the bow. The bow is like this. Kind of. The bow's not like this. It's kind of different. So there's, the look of it is really cute. So there's that reason to do it. But another reason is that so many new sewists and even some experienced sewists have trouble setting in sleeves. And so it's one way to get around that, because you really want your audience and your customer to be successful. And if they're successful and they sew it and they finish it and they try it on, that's good for you. It's good for them. So if you're going to design something that is a little harder, fewer people are going to sew it and finish it. So I see no armholes on a lot of patterns. And that is very recent, like the last 10 years. So, but see, look at the side seam. So the side seam on my dress form is right here. The side seam on the garment is right here. That right there, that difference, it's like 5/8 of an inch. That's 1.25 inches on me. So that means the garment's not balanced. So you can you see that swinging forward? It makes me want to pick this up some more and cut down on the back neck more. You know, like, let's do a little more. Now remember, this is my body. That doesn't mean that this is for everybody, these changes. So when I do that and I get this more balanced, right, I'm getting that side seam now is more in line with where this one is. It's more perpendicular to the ground. It looks a little better. But now I have this other thing happening here, this gaping, right? So you'd have to fix that too. Little belly. There we go. The thing is, like, sometimes you just can't make certain garments, no matter how cute they are, work for your body either, right? I love my dress forms. Well, cool. Well, we got a good start on my cover here. I'm going to fix this, move that seam more. And then I'm going to drape the bottom. And then I'll have something to try out. So I'll sew it all. I can't decide how I'm going to finish the armholes and neck yet. I don't think I want binding. It's too bulky. I might do a facing. I could line it, but that seems kind of thick. Yeah, or just don't button the top button. Yeah. I mean, really, if this is your garment, like for you, that really helped that, you know, pulling that like that. This is the problem, right? Now this yoke seam is really high up. I don't know if you'll be here tomorrow, Sydney, but I'll try to remember to wear my Kelly. Or I'll bring it and put it on the dress form. Mine's a crack now, though. And I got rid of a lot of these issues. So, but, you know, if this is just for me, you know, I can actually fix this myself for my pattern. It would take this center front line off grain a little bit, but, you know, we could trim that. It's not frowned upon. Yeah, but you'd want to drop this yoke seam back to the original style line probably. But look at how much now. So the original edge. So I have that's a lot. That's like 2 inches. The dress form looks much bigger than me. I think so too, but I don't think so. Right? I took photographs. I'm going to try my cover on me, Nancy. She is a little bit bigger because of breathing. When you're scanning and breathing, it's going to add a little bit. Not much. So, hi, Daphne. How's it going? I'm about to sign off, so sorry about that. This was fun, though. I've been draping my bodice cover, and then we tried the Callie shirt dress on my mini-me. I like some of those changes, Sydney. I wonder if they would actually work. This is a big change, though. I need to move this all the way down now. But it makes it loose back here. You see that? Now this is hanging back here, whereas when we started, it was cupping my bum. In a drapey fabric, this would probably look okay. It's still quite a bit for me. Yeah. Right, Sydney? I know. So that's why I say I would definitely cut this and be really accurate about my measurements before I made that big of a change to the pattern. The camera is everything. It is, Nancy. Pretty much, yeah. I know. She looks bigger than me, doesn't she? I even took pictures of her, but yeah, you know. I think down here she's bigger, but I am pretty big there. There. I took pictures of myself, and then I took a picture of the form in the same distance and height and everything, and it was pretty good. But, you know, we're squishier, and I think it just, yeah, translates. So, but yeah, she does look bigger than me. I agree. It's distracting. But this t-shirt, I put this on, you know, and this is how it fits me. Yeah, I know, right, Daphne? I have a belly though. Told you guys. She looks pregnant. That's what I told Brooke. I'm like, this dress form looks pregnant, and it's very unsettling. But I'm gonna keep her clothed here mostly. I have that mom bod, you guys. I was meant to have babies, man. Labor and delivery, no problem. Pregnancy, I had some problems with my sacrum, but that was about it. I was a champ. I'm peasant stock. She's taller than me. I know, I even did that. I made her the same height as me in the pictures. Yeah, I mean, look at that. She looks bigger than me there, too, because she's firmer. She just needs some cute shorts, yeah. Yeah, so I'm kind of eager to get the cover made, and I'm going to put it on me and put it on her and see how it fits. Because, like, just like this area here is, you know, more carved out on me, right, than it is on her, because it's just smooth. Whereas you know, it goes like this, you know. And then same with like down here, you have way more definition. Yeah. Yeah, everything hopefully. Hi, Glenn. How's it going? Yeah. If I can do it, you can do it. All right, well, I'm going to head out. I'm meeting a landscaper at my house this afternoon. And I need to go over some pattern stuff for my graphic artist. So, but that was fun. I'm excited to see how it goes. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for the last part of the Tibetan Chupa by Folkwear Patterns. And then did you see Heart said I could customize it? So, right, Nancy? I did that too. I took a picture of me from the side, and then I took a picture of me from my butt. I was like, my butt is not that big. But, you know, this is a firm a form. It's a firm dress form. Whereas we, having jeans on, it's weird. It's weird. I'm trying to make it normal, like this is it. This is normal. But we'll see. And it may be a little different in some places because nothing's perfect. And I'll just learn what those differences are and how to compensate for that. That's my plan. So, oh, Daphne, you've been working long hours. I'm sorry. That's a bummer. I hope you get the weekend now. Is it your weekend? I'm working tomorrow, but then I'm off Sunday, Monday. I'm only going to think about is this, though. So, all right. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We can catch up some more. Hopefully you can come and hang out while we finish that dress. I'm going to do a bunch of alterations to the one that I have already made and taken in a little bit. I also forgot a dart in the armhole on the front. I don't know what was going on yesterday. And something else. Did I forget something? Oh, I didn't forget something. I just noticed like that slit I left open on the wrap. I don't think I need to leave that open. I can get it on and off no problem. So yeah. Thanks for stopping by, you guys. Happy Friday. Have a great afternoon, evening, morning, whatever. And I will see you Saturday, March 7th, 11 a.m. Pacific. So bye, guys. See you soon.